Hey guys, this is Fun with Brittany. Thanks so much for watching my channel. Today what I'm going to talk about before it gets too long into my pregnancy is my first trimester experience and kind of all the things that happened to me. You can obviously find a bunch of videos. You can find week by week videos. You can find all kinds of stuff like that, but I just found myself wanting videos of people to just give me a summation of exactly what each trimester was like, because I feel like there can be a lot of variation between what to expect from week to week. And so kind of knowing what you're in for when the trimester starts, I think can be really, really helpful. So if you're in your first trimester, congratulations. Pregnancy is a really, really exciting time. I'm a single mom, so some things were honestly really difficult for me. And yeah, just dealing with emotions, fighting off pregnancy symptoms, and kind of finding the best things that worked for me was really a big mission. Anyway, I want to tell you about the things that happened in my first trimester, as well as what worked for me, which might be different for you. And I'm not a doctor, so none of this is medical advice. It's just what helped me out. The very first thing that ended up happening to me was that I started having really bad pain, like in my very, very lower back. I would say almost like my glute. It was like my butt, and it felt like just kind of a stabbing pain. And I've also had sciatica before on some level, where it was like running down my leg in the past with injuries and stuff like that, or just from overuse. I guess I didn't realize that this was also sciatica, and I ended up finding out later that that's definitely what it was. And it was bad enough that it literally felt like an injury. There was even one time that I put an ice pack on it and fell asleep, and I literally got frostbite from the ice pack. And it just made me realize, like, basically how careful to be with an ice pack, but also how badly it was hurting. And yeah, I almost scheduled an appointment with my chiropractor. He's a natural chiropractor. He practices NUCA, and he's totally worth the drive. But I didn't want to go there for nothing. We're gonna work on my back a lot more after my pregnancy, just so that it's completely safe. I'm just glad that I didn't go all the way there, because it felt like an injury, but it definitely was not one. The first thing I will say is that while you're pregnant, you're gonna need an ice pack at some point in the road. It's not really safe to use heating pads, especially on your stomach. You can use them on your back, apparently. A lot of the ice packs that I use for injuries are called the coldest, and I just love them because, first of all, they're the coldest and they really, really stay cold. But after this frostbite incident, just keep in mind that, like, your body is changing a lot, and you're gonna have to be more careful than you were before you got pregnant. I wanted to show you guys this one. It's from Wink Naturals. It's like a clay ice pack, and the back is coated with little fluffy material, and also it's light enough that you can literally just stick it right in the back of your pants if you get sciatica. I found that the Wink ice pack was much better for me during pregnancy as opposed to the coldest. But again, if you have like an ankle injury or a foot injury or something, definitely check out the coldest, because they're a little bit colder and they last longer. If you end up needing an ice pack like on the fly or something, I do recommend grabbing it on Amazon. You can check out my Amazon associate link below, and I'll definitely have a link to all of these products I bought. Most of them are from Amazon. And yeah, if you have Prime, it will be there the next afternoon, and it makes it really nice to just kind of buy things as you need them. But I do recommend that you try out that Wink Naturals ice pack and just kind of have that ready to go, because you will definitely need it at some point in your pregnancy. This is the second thing that I want to show you, and it's a little back massager. You don't want to lay down on this. You want to go ahead and put it up against a pillow and then lean on it, and part of it does heat up, so use it with caution. There were some people who left some bad reviews for this and basically said that, like, it felt really good and they didn't realize and it burnt them, and like, I don't know. I mean, that thing was $20, so I'm sorry, but this worked really, really well for me. Like, I would say it definitely stopped me from spending the money to go and get a massage, so I really enjoyed that. That is like the best $20 I ever spent, and I don't know what happened with those other reviews. I'm sorry if people got hurt. But yeah, I didn't, and it seemed like it would be really difficult to do. So yeah, as long as you're okay with having one that you do not lay on and you just lean onto, I really liked this one because as different parts of my back hurt throughout my pregnancy, I was able to use the massager over and over again wherever I needed it. The next thing I will bring up is what I call all-day sickness, which you guys may know as morning sickness. I was basically having morning sickness literally like all day and all night, and waking up in the middle of the night almost every single night and getting sick, and then waking up again at like 4 or 5 in the morning and getting sick, and it was just dry heaving, throwing up multiple times a day. I mean, I was literally miserable. And so, yeah, when I went to the doctor, the first thing that they suggested was Unisom. And like, I'm sorry, but Unisom is like a sleep aid. So this was not feasible for me because I was having this all day long. And yeah, I just wasn't comfortable taking Unisom throughout my pregnancy. That's just not something that, like, it didn't even sound good, you know? So anyway, I decided against that, and I've since learned that most of the time what they prescribe is Zofran, and of course Zofran works. I've used that for other things, and it has to be prescribed to you, but that works really well for nausea. The only problem to me seemed to be like if it's getting prescribed all the time, because this is just going to be happening for months or something. Again, it was something I really didn't want to take, and so I will tell you guys about one item that I use very often. They're called cell salts, and they're from the brand Boiron, but they also have a brand called Highlands that makes cell salts. And they're basically those little tablets, and you can put them under your tongue or you can mix them with water. And I do want to add that they're very controversial because they're not studied for use during pregnancy, and there are a lot of people who advise against it just because they can't say that it's unsafe, but they can't say that it's safe. For me, it just got to the point where I was more comfortable using something I had used before. They never hurt me, so that was my experience. I'm not a doctor. Take it or leave it. I'm just telling you guys what worked for myself. So I used the Boiron cell salt called Nux Vomica, and the reason I used that one is because it was something that worked another time I was having these symptoms that I was not pregnant. It ended up clearing up my morning sickness within like the first week of taking it. So anyway, that was what worked for me. I took it a couple times a day and I followed the instructions on the packaging. I will go ahead and link that down below just so you can see what product I'm talking about, and you can definitely go in the reviews and search and type in pregnancy and see if anybody else took it during their pregnancy. Again, it's controversial, but that was what worked for me. Probably the last symptom that showed up in my first trimester was just like extreme tiredness. I can't even explain. Like, I had never been so tired in my whole life. I mean, it felt like there were whole days that like all I could do was sleep. And I would even go out places and get super tired there. I mean, I was like just falling asleep like out and stuff. So one thing I will say is that since I was sleeping a lot more during the day, it became really important for the room to be dark. I really tried to just lean into it and get my sleep as much as I possibly could. So I wanted to show you guys this face mask that I got. And it's just a nice little mulberry silk mask, and it made me feel nice. It made me feel like I was taking care of myself. And on top of that, it was like $10. And my favorite brand is actually the Slip Silk pillowcases, hair ties, and they make all kinds of silk products, but basically their eye mask was like over $30 or something, and so this was a nice little $10 to $15 purchase that made me feel very bougie, and I really enjoyed having it in my first trimester. And yeah, honestly, I just kept it with me because even if I'd be in the car with other people or something, like, it was just very easy to take a nap, and I found myself doing that a lot more often. So yeah, I hope that some of my tips for the first trimester also help you. Go down in the comment box and let me know if there was something that happened to you in your first trimester that I didn't bring up. Everyone has really different wacky symptoms, but I feel like the things that happened to me were pretty standard. The only thing I would say is that they did tell me normally the sciatic pain doesn't show up until later, or if it does, that it normally doesn't get better, it gets worse. But it did actually disappear in my second trimester. And you can also watch the video that I'm making on my second trimester and what my experience was with that as well. I hope that you liked my video. So please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to be notified when I make a new video.